The Toronto Raptors are orchestrating possibly the greatest tank ever. I mean, this team is fighting hard. They're showing a lot of effort, but yet they're continuing to lose these games. I mean, take their latest loss, for example. The Raptors had no business being in that game against the Celtics. They were 16.5 point underdogs, down 5 rotation players, including 2 starters, and they battled the Celtics into overtime. And it took a Jason Tatum game-winning 3-point shot at the buzzer to beat them, which shouldn't even have counted because the NBA's last 2 minutes report came out and Tatum traveled before hitting that shot, which gave the Celtics the win. And you look at the Raptors in that one, I mean, RJ Barrett was unbelievable. Jakob Poeltl continues to be playing out of his mind. He had 35 points. I can't believe how well Jakob Poeltl has been playing. And really, if the Raptors make their free throws, they win this game. A couple of costly missed free throws in regulation. As Barrett, he had his first ever triple-double, 25 points, 15 assists, 10 rebounds. And then going back to Poeltl, 35 points and 12 rebounds. A game after, he put up 25 points and 19 boards against the Pistons. I thought he had the 20 and 20 game, but they ended up taking away a rebound, which sucks. But nonetheless, I mean, he has just been at the peak of his powers right now. He's playing the best basketball of his career. But you look at this Raptors team, I can't remember the last team that has been entertaining through all these losses. I mean, it's crazy. Can you name a better 2-12 team than this Raptors team right now? Like, this is the worst team in the NBA, but their record does not reflect that. The Raptors, they've been playing in a bunch of games that are close, that come down to the wire. The problem for them is they haven't been able to win those games. But the good part is, if you're on Team Tank, they're losing these games, which obviously helps the grand vision of things when it comes to this team trying to land a top 5 pick, or best case scenario, trying to land the number 1 pick of Cooper Flag. Because if the season ended today, the Raptors would have a 14% chance of landing Cooper Flag. But you look at the Raptors, they're 1-7 in games decided by 6 points or less, guys. They've lost 7 in a row. They're 0-8 to start on the road, which is tied for the second worst in franchise history. They started 0-10 on the road in 1997-98. They have a chance to top that. This record could be a lot different, but it's not. And I said it in a previous video. I think the Raptors are in the perfect situation because they have the worst record. And I think the plan moving forward should be clear. This team's not going to go out there and purposely tank. But hey, if they can continue to fight hard and show us a lot of good things in these games and they don't necessarily win these games, I mean, that's the perfect scenario for this team. Because I do think the Raptors need to have their sights set on a top 5 pick. Look, Cooper Flag would be amazing to get. And obviously, if the Raptors do finish with the worst record, they would have a 14% chance of doing that. But it does seem hard to imagine this Raptors team staying dead last when they start getting guys back. However, I can envision this Raptors team being a bottom 5 team and realistically getting a top 5 pick, because you look at how the standings are playing out. Again, it's still very, very early, guys, but the Raptors are dead last at 2-12. The 76ers are 2-10, but I still do think they're going to figure it out eventually. I really doubt the 76ers are going to be a bottom 5 team. And then the Wizards. So, those are the 2 teams in the East, Wizards and Raptors, who I can see being truly bad. Then you have a couple of other teams that have actually been winning games to start the season, surprisingly. The Bulls, Nets, Pacers, Hornets. So, they might not factor in to the bottom 5. Even the Pistons, who have been winning games, are 6-8. Again, it's very early, but that's just kind of how I see things. And then you go on over to the Western Conference. It's Pelicans, Jazz, Blazers, because I think the Spurs are going to be competitive. So those are the 5 teams I realistically see being the bottom 5 in the NBA. Blazers, Pelicans, Jazz, Raptors, Wizards. Now, what the order of that bottom 5 is going to be, that remains to be seen. But hey, if the Raptors continue this losing pace, they're going to have a great shot at giving themselves the best chance at getting that top pick. Again, it comes down to probability. You're basically, if you're a betting man, it comes down to just having the luck of the draw. And you, like the last couple teams that have had the worst record, they haven't gotten the number 1 overall pick. But you look at where the Raptors are at right now, they've kind of given themselves a leg up compared to some of these other teams where they have put themselves in an ideal position here to start if, they do have their sights set on being a bottom 5 team and trying to get a top pick. I think, if you're the Raptors, having a top 5 pick in this upcoming draft would be golden. Like, obviously, the main thing would be trying to get the number 1 pick, getting Cooper Flag. But I'm saying worst case scenario, even if you don't get the number 1 pick, you get 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, you're still happy. I'm still happy with that result because I think it's safe to say we're starting to see it now. It's not about the season. It's about what this team can become. And right now, like, there's a lot of things to be excited about. Imagine adding a top 5 talent in this upcoming draft to this team. It's going to be fun to see what this team can become. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of important questions to be asked. You know, what is this Raptors team going to do around the trade deadline? A big talking point, and I put it out on X, is what is this team going to do with Jakob Poeltl? Like, right now, he's playing the best basketball of his career. His stock is never going to be higher than this. Like, are the Raptors going to sell high on him? Should they sell high on him? Because, look, I've been on team trade Jakob Poeltl, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Like, if the Raptors do trade Poeltl, it might take them some time to find a new center, a young center who can become what Poeltl is to this team and do a lot of the things that Poeltl does. Obviously, timeline is the issue with Poeltl because he's going to be 30 next season. So unless you think this Raptors team with a top 5 pick and a 30-year-old Poeltl can compete next season, then you don't trade him. Obviously, that's going to be, you know, a lot of good things need to happen for that to, in fact, come to fruition. So that's the biggest piece here. I think Bruce Brown is going to be on the block, but hopefully he can come back soon and kind of show us some things. He's been injured. He's been on the shelf. I think Boucher is another name. But Jakob Poeltl, I think that's going to be the most attractive trade asset that the Raptors have because there's a lot of contending teams in need of a center, and he's been balling out. So if the Raptors can cash in on a big trade for Poeltl, first-round pick, young center back in return, you have to do it. It's going to come down to what they get back in that trade if they do, in fact, trade Poeltl. But there definitely is an argument on the other side of not trading Poeltl because he is kind of the perfect center right now. Obviously, he's not that, you know, stretch the floor type center that you want to have play with Scottie, but he does complement a lot of these players well. You know, we saw RJ's chemistry with him off the pick and roll. Grady has been thriving alongside Poeltl. So Jakob has been doing a good job with all these injuries. So I think that's the biggest piece here. What are the Raptors going to do with Jakob Poeltl? What do you think the Raptors should do with Jakob Poeltl? Are you still inclined to trade Poeltl, or do you want to see the Raptors keep him and try to work things out here? But nonetheless, I mean, the Raptors guys, they are really doing a good job here. I mean, a lot of people are on Team Tank, myself included. I'm not backing down away from that take. I think this team should go all in on the tank and all in on this upcoming draft. But hey, it's been a perfectly executed tank because this has not been terrible basketball to watch. And these games have actually been really, really fun. And the Raptors are orchestrating perfect losses. And I never thought that was possible. I mean, I thought they were going to win that game against the Celtics. And again, if it wasn't for a missed call by the refs on that travel, they probably would have. And if they made their free throws, but they do lose. They are 2-12. That's the reality. And right now they got the best chance of landing the number 1 pick in the draft if the season, of course, ended today. But guys, let me know your thoughts on this Raptors team to this point. Are you enjoying this fun kind of losing skid that they're on? I never thought I would use the words fun and losing skid in the same sentence, but here we are. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. That's it for me. It's Luke signing off. I will catch you all again in the next one.